This conference will now be recorded.
Hi, folks. I'm Adam Molney. I'm the data coordinator for the Collier County Democratic Party. And today's training, we're going to be doing lit drop and how to use MiniVAN. Give me 1 second while I get my screens
Take it
arranged.
that's not driving.
Uh-oh, somebody's driving?
That's not driving. MiniVAN.
No. Well, you use your car for lit drops. But
Okay.
sorry, guys. 1 second. All right. Now I can't see anybody. Sorry. Just getting my screen arranged. All right. All right. Well, I'll have to go without seeing you guys. So anyway, I'm Adam Molney. I'm the data captain or data coordinator, as we said. And our goal this year is going to be 15,000 slate cards for Democratic households in Collier. We usually use teams of 2, which was a question about driving. So usually one person drives and one person jumps out and delivers bags. And we're using a smartphone app called MiniVAN. The goal, obviously, is to increase voter turnout. And we're going to target this year registered voters who did not vote in 2018 because midterm turnout is historically lower. So anybody who didn't vote in the last midterm, we're trying to convince them to come to the polls for this midterm. The lit drop is big because getting physical something on your doorstep is much better than getting a text or an email. We think, physical literature, something you can hold in your hands, is really should have a big impact on people. This is Judy Freiberg is our volunteer coordinator, so she's got the rules of the road for everybody to follow. And the main thing is we're going to have pickup at headquarters. So we'll schedule bags, or we'll fill bags with your territory that you're going to be running, and we'll pick them up usually in the morning, do your deliveries during the day, and then the afternoon come back and drop off the leftovers plus your list so we can see what you've completed. We'll help you with MiniVAN when you arrive to make sure you're all set to use your phone before you head out the door. And then, as I mentioned, go in pairs. So I'm going to stop sharing for just a second, just to see if I can straighten my screen out. Sorry about this, guys. I'll have to record the next one too. There we go. That's better. All right. So these are the rules now. U.S. Postal Service is the only people allowed to put things in mailboxes. So we want to make sure that you never put a bag in or on a mailbox. That's only for federally protected mail. So we usually try to hang it on the doorknob on the front door. If not, obviously you just do the best you can, use your best judgment. If there's a screen door, you can put it on the screen door. Sometimes if there's no good knob to hang it on, I'll just open the screen door and then close it on the bag of literature so that people can't miss it when they come home. If there's a gate, right, you see, obviously people don't want you going up their driveway, you just hang it on the gate and they'll see it when they pull up. Same for a walkway, and in general, just do the best you can. I had one where the guy had a really long driveway and the very first thing was a no trespassing sign right at the street. So I just hung it on the no trespassing sign. That was the best you could do in that regard. Okay. This is kind of like the when you hear a commercial for a medication and they always have those warnings about side effects. It tends to make you think you want to stay away from this, but it's really incredibly rare, and it's almost like we're required to say this, right? Somebody may ask you, what are you doing here? Somebody may yell, let's go Brandon, right? But generally, most communities, they may be marked no trespassing, they may not, right? A lot of these are just regular housing developments, so you're just free to walk around and hang literature bags on doorknobs. Some communities are ungated, in which case you go in and hang them because basically you're in and gone within a few minutes. So you're not going to be annoying people. It's not like you're knocking on doors. We're not trying to reach people at home. We're just leaving them literature. If anybody questions you, you can explain why you're there. You can explain we're not soliciting. We are just promoting democracy and dropping off election materials. And if the person becomes insistent, then you can just leave and go on to the next block or whatever. And you'll mark that off as inaccessible or gated or hostile. I'll show you how to do that in the MiniVAN app. We do have the right to place bags. The Supreme Court has said you can't stop political speech. So legally we're covered, but we are representing the Democratic Party of Collier County, so we don't want to overly irritate people beyond asserting our rights. We've got contact info here from me, Judy, and Linda Chiarella will also be one of the team leaders. She's starting after the 17th. So now I'm going to talk about the tool, which is MiniVAN Touch, and that is a smartphone app which lets you deliver materials to predefined address list. The address list is something that I generate in MiniVAN ahead of time. They've all been laid out with turfs that you're going to walk, which will be anywhere from 20 to 200 houses in a turf. The bigger ones obviously will split among multiple people or over a couple of days. The tool has multiple options for how you can display and look at your information. There's ways to get yourself oriented on the map. It's kind of like using Google Maps or any of your driving apps. You record your progress. So each time you drop off a bag at a house, you touch to say I dropped a bag and you move on. And that way everything gets synced up and we can see from the main office what's been done and what hasn't. You're going to get a printed list. It looks just like this. Let's see, there we go. So if any of you know Immokalee, that's actually the northeast corner of Immokalee. Because of gerrymandering, Immokalee has been split into 2 congressional districts. So this one is under US House District 18. So there's a printed list. You notice the red circle in the top right. Can everybody see the red circle okay? Okay, good. That's your list number. And that's what you're going to enter into your phone to tell the MiniVAN app what territory you're working on today. The remaining page is just for backup. This is the names and street addresses of all the people you're going to be dropping at. If there's 2 people at one address, it's indicated by a dashed line. So there's 2 names, but they both have the same address. And then the gray bars, we just kind of organize it by street so your eye can follow easily. If for some reason your phone doesn't work or you're not comfortable using MiniVAN, you can cross them off on this list and then bring it back and we'll have somebody do data entry to put the stuff into the system. Obviously, we prefer not to have that extra step because as you sync up on the road, we can see your progress in real time. So it's far preferable for you to do this on your phone. So any questions so far? Oh, okay, good. The first thing is you go to Apple Store or Google Play.
It looks like Rita has a question. Rita, go ahead and unmute and ask Adam your question. Oh,
No,
you're still muted, Rita. Let me see if I can help you out there.
How's that?
Yep, I got you.
Okay, what's in the packs that we are delivering? Is it sample ballots or just general information?
All of the above. So we have general information on the 3 ways to vote: vote by mail, vote early, vote on election day. So that's a 2-sided 8.5 by 11. And then there will be a sample ballot showing the candidates for the particular territory that you're going to be in, because that varies depending on where you are in Collier County, right? You might have Banya as your candidate, or it might be Olivo.
Okay.
Same goes for the state house, and even fire district in some cases.
Thank you.
Then we'll have some palm cards for the candidates. You know, any additional materials we can stick in there to make it look like a nice grab bag.
I have a question. This is Debbie.
Hi.
What do you do about gated communities? Like when you have a guard or like ours has, you show your license or whatever.
Yeah.
How do you get in there?
So what we've done is we've marked off the gated communities as separate turfs. So in the gated communities where we have a host and that person is willing to invite us in, then we will assign that to somebody and let the host know that we're coming, and they'll let the guard know. So what gated community are you in?
La Mirada?
I'm sorry?
La Mirada?
La Mirada, okay. Okay.
So she's in my community, Adam.
Right, you guys are the same, so you've already got us covered, right, Rosemary?
Well, I didn't do it last time, so.
Well, it is it's a personal decision for each of you who lives in a gated community, and Judy and Linda Chiarello are going around making calls to see who wants to host us. So,
Okay,
but for the moment, we're actually saving those for last. We'll do the easy stuff first.
right.
Oh,
Once we get through all the open communities, then we'll start trying to get into gated communities. We have a few that are hosting us in Fiddler's Creek and a couple others.
okay,
Okay.
thanks.
So coming back to the app, this is an app that runs on iPhone or Android. So you can download it from the Apple Store or Google Play. Use the name MiniVAN Touch. If you just search on MiniVAN, obviously you get compact cars and buses and stuff. So it's MiniVAN Touch, and then you download the app. So I'm going to see if I can fire up my cell phone and get this thing going. So I'm going to stop sharing my laptop, and then, sorry. Now I'm going to try and see if I can share what's on my cell phone. So bear with me 1 second. More share. Oh, I have to make the other Adam the presenter. Okay. Start. So now, give it a second. You guys should see. Okay, so that's my iPhone 8. Same thing. Everybody got some kind of phone, and I'm actually 6 behind the latest revision, but it works. So I'm going to go to the MiniVAN app. It's the blue rectangle with the white circles. And if some of you might recognize, that's an old rotary dial telephone, because this is used for phone banking sometimes. So I'm currently signed out. So I launched the app, and the first thing it tells me is I can either log in, and if I haven't been in this before, I can create my own account. So if I'm first time user, I'm going to touch create action ID. And it always pops up this little warning sign. There's some external database it uses at ngpvan.com, which is the provider of this product. So I'm just going to hit continue, and that's perfectly fine. So now you would create an account for yourself. You don't need an administrator to do it for you. You just have to fill in email address, and then create a password for yourself, and then first name, last name, and phone number. You have to put in your cell phone, because the first time you log in, it sends you a text message with a confirmation number. Okay. So in my case, I already have an account, so I'm going to hit cancel, and I'm going to log in with my current action ID. So in my case, it's just my email address. Okay. And then I'm going to stop sharing for just a second, because we're recording this and I don't want my password going out over the whole world. So. Of course, it's always harder to type when people are watching. Okay, I'm going to go back to screen sharing. Let's think about it for a minute. Okay, so I'm back to my phone now, and here is what MiniVAN looks like. So the red bar across the top is just a go to meeting telling me it's running. So when I'm starting a new list, the first thing it's going to say is enter a list number. So as I mentioned, if you look at the camera for a second, you're going to have a list number on this sheet that you get, and it's in the top right corner. So it says, if you have a printed list, enter the number here. So it's a 2-part number. So I'm going to put my number in.
Okay, so I put the app on my phone, and the thing that comes up for me right now, it says enable location services. I didn't see that come up on your phone.
Yeah, you're going to want that, because as you're walking around, it's just like Google Maps where you're driving. You want to see that blue dot so you can see your position.
Okay, so I don't skip that. I get started.
So yeah, you'll go into your settings in your iPhone, and you'll look for location services, and then you'll go to the app MiniVAN, and you'll say, yes, I want to allow GPS, or where it says enable, just say, okay. I think it should do it that way.
Okay, I'm there with you now, so go ahead.
Okay. All right, let's see if I got the number. Nope, I didn't get it. I got the typo on the number. 3960 6296. Then I touch download list. And the first thing it says is this is obviously been around for a couple of years, so it's still recommending masks for canvassing, keep 6 feet apart and so on. And obviously, if you want to take practice, if you want to practice safe hygiene, you're welcome to wear a mask, but we're not going to be engaging with people unless someone wants to chat. So I'm going to hit continue. And now you can see the map and the list. So starting from the top, there's the list number I'm currently working on, ending in 10029. It says household in blue is underlined, and then people. So that's the 2 ways to list. If you want to list group people by house or list them by name. We're only dropping 1 lit bag per household. So we're doing everything by household. So if there's 2 people living there, we drop 1 bag, and then we mark both people individually as having received a bag. Working my way down, you've got the map with the circles. And then it's a little hard to see, but there's a very faint gray line above where it says search by street. And you can grab that and you can slide the list up and down. So I'm going to slide down for a second just to let you get a better look at the map. Now you notice most of them are clustered in town, and there's just one guy way out in the boonies. So if you choose not to drive out there, I'll understand. So I'm going to zoom in on this map, and you can see the list numbers now. As you get bigger, it shows more and more detail. So you can see some 1s and 2s, which are individual houses. And then like where there's a 10, that means there's more houses to be shown, but you have to zoom in to see it. So that one could well be an apartment building or something. And if I want to see an individual, I'll touch on one particular bubble and it'll show me that address. And it shows me there's 2 people living at 117 Jefferson Avenue West who should receive a package, and they're going to share a package because we're only doing 1 per household. So I can go straight to that by touching on that address bar. And now there's who lives there, Bolivar and Charlene Baez. So you'll notice the icon, the person icon is a light gray shade, which means this person hasn't been done yet. So I'm going to touch on Bolivar. It sends in the details to me about this person. So age, gender, since we're not talking to them, it's not so important. And then the question we're asking, you record your result here. So you'll say, did I drop off literature? Yes. And I either handed it to them or left them on the door. So the most common is going to be left on door. So I touch left on door and I'm done with that one. And then I go to the second person, since they're at the same address. Charlene is also automatically completed, so she's left on the door also. So now if I go back, you'll notice these 2 people are marked in blue, so I can see that they're done. In my case, we're just demonstrating, so I'm going to uncheck that for both of them because I didn't actually do them. Now, the other possibility is, I think it was Debbie asked about gated communities. Like if we come across a gate that we don't know about, or you can't get there for some reason, you're going to say, I couldn't reach this person. So you're going to touch on the red box, I couldn't reach, and then you'll say why. Refused, meaning get off my property or I don't want one. Inaccessible, we're going to use that for like if it's a locked apartment building or something where you need to be buzzed in. Then you've got hostile and gated. So gated, we know exactly what gated means. So if the gated community will mark it like that. Okay. But I'm not actually going to mark it because I didn't do anything. Now I'll go back and you'll notice in the top right above 117 Jefferson Avenue West, it says not synced and there's a little cloud symbol. So as you go along, you want to sync up periodically. This will upload it into the database and then we can see it at the command center and we'll be able to tell what's been done. And if you've got 2 people working a territory at the same time, you'll be able to see on the map where the other person has completed their drops.
So you just click on the little cloud to sync?
Yep, just touch that little cloud. I'll go ahead and do it since I touch on synced.
Okay.
Now it says it's synced up 0 minutes ago. Okay, so now I'm gonna go back. So this one we did from the map. So if you remember, there was a gray bar and it was actually a split screen with the map on top and the addresses on the bottom. So I'm gonna grab that light gray bar, which is at the very bottom, and drag it back up, all the way up as far as I can. And now you can see all the same addresses again, but this time they're sorted by street. So you can decide on a strategy when you get there or as you're driving up, you can say, okay, I want to go zigzag up and down if it's a nice grid arrangement of blocks, or I might go up one way and back the other way. And you'll decide that and pick the streets you're on where you want to work.
Okay, so when we get to headquarters, Judy or whoever is there is going to help load the location where we're going to do the drop off on our phones,
Yes.
correct? Okay,
Yep. Hopefully the first day, and then after that, you'll be able to do it.
okay.
Okay?
Yep.
So, and that's the main heart of the application, just going across. Looking at the bottom, we've got my list, which is the little blue house symbol. That's where we are now. And then there's next door, which what this does is it finds the place that's physically closest to where you are. So you have no idea. You're in the middle of Immokalee. You don't know where to start. You hit next, and it'll take your current location and find the nearest door. So I'm in Naples right now, so it says 26.9 miles to the nearest door. But if you're actually there, this would be very helpful. So again, I can touch on the first one, 112 Ahinga Circle. And there it is, right? And the blue dot of me, actually it's a black dot. The black dot would be somewhere in the vicinity. I say, okay, I got to make a left and the house is going to be on my right or whatever it may be. I'm going to go back. There's a progress bar at the bottom, a little chart thing, so I can touch on progress. And that just tells you how far along you are. There's your list number again, in case you want to make sure you're on the right one. This is how many doors have to be done in this particular neighborhood. So when there's 200, you know, if it's a close packed neighborhood, you should be able to do 100 in a shift. If any of you have done this before, you might comment on how accurate that is. Depending if it's an apartment complex, you would do it walking, obviously, and you could do, you know, 30 apartments in 10 minutes or so. And then moving across to menu, the 3 bars on the bottom right, I touch menu, and here's your options. If you're gonna start a new list on the next day, you can sync. Again, that's the same thing as the cloud symbol in the top right corner. Download a new list, and then there's log out and help. I want to show you the help. This is very nice because there's actually a training video right here. So you can play this video on your phone if you want to get familiar. It's you know, much better narrator than me. And then all the basics of basically the stuff we just talked about, how to enter a list number, how to find people. You can see the pages of the list and so on. I'm going to go back for a second and talk about the list a little more. So I'm going to go to list, the house symbol in the bottom left corner. So I'm going to go back to my list. And you'll notice I made it half house and half map. And I can sort this by odd or even if you want to go up one side of the street and then the other, if they're numbered that way. I can filter out people who have already been contacted, right? So I can only include people who are not contacted, and I'm going to hit apply, right? So in my case, we haven't done anybody, so it's the same number, but this would tell you how many are left, okay? And I think that's pretty much it for this tool. And then when you're done, you just be sure to sync up periodically, sync up on your way home. And then when you come back the next day, you just put in a new list number and start fresh. Any questions on that? Hi, Rita.
You may, am I live?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. You probably covered this and I missed it. My screen says create an action ID.
Yes, that's basically you're creating a user account for yourself. Unless, now, if you did this last year, well, 2 years ago, you might still have a user account from last time.
I did. I still had a user accounts.
Okay, so Rita, if you're not sure, what'll happen is you'll put in your email, excuse me, and if that email already exists, it'll say there's an account for that. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna log you out. I'm gonna log myself out. So under Adam only, it says log out there on the bottom right. I'm gonna touch log out. And it always asks this question when you log in and out, so you just say continue. All right. So now, if you have an email address that you use regularly, which you guys all do, I'm gonna say log in with action ID, hit continue. Now, if you think you've used it before, but you don't remember, then under, just above the blue login, it says don't remember your password, question mark. I'm gonna touch on that. And then it gives you the opportunity to put in your email address and it'll send you an email with a password reset.
Thank you.
Okay, if you can't remember, just try this. If it says, oh, I've never heard of you, then obviously you have to create a new account.
Okay,
And again, you might also get a text message with a,
okay.
what you call it, with a 6-digit confirmation code. All right, I'm going to stop sharing on this. Okay. And then I'm going to go back to my presentation. So that was the live demo you just saw. This was just in case my phone didn't work for some reason. This is here as a backup. So it's basically what we talked about. You can create a new account if you don't have one. You don't need me to do it for you. You'll always get this message about MiniVAN wants to use NGP to sign in. Just say continue. Create your own account if it's your first time using. If you've used Open Virtual Phone Bank, it's the same action ID that you use for Virtual Phone Bank. So anybody who's done phone banking, use that login rather than create something new. 6-digit code, you can kind of see it across the top of the screen there, I think. So, you know, action ID verification code. So there's a checkbox there that says, remember this device. Otherwise, you got to put in a code every single time. It's a nuisance. Choose your database, list number we talked about. You'll have a printed list with the list number in the top right corner. Put in your list number here. It's always in 2 parts like it's shown here. 3-bar menu on the bottom. 3 lines is the menu on the bottom right. There's a bunch of options. You can show houses. They're grouped by circles. You can zoom in to see more detail, and the black dot is where you currently are. You want to display by household because we're only dropping 1 per household. Touch the name, record the result, left on door or gave it to them in person. Do not put literature in mailboxes, remember that, because we could get in trouble. And then if you couldn't reach, just put the reason you couldn't reach them. And sync up periodically. I've got that cloud symbol circled in the top right corner. Track your progress. You can see, you know, how many have I done so far today and so on. So that's basically the entire tool. So you're going to install it on your smartphone today, create your action ID, get all that done ahead of time, because if you get in trouble, we can resolve it now rather than waiting till the morning you come to pick up your literature bags. I'm going to click on, it says click here to choose your shifts. I'm going to click on this link to take us over to Mobilize. All right. So I want to volunteers, general training. I'm sure pretty much all of you have taken that. And then I'm going to scroll down. Here's what we're looking for. Deliver literature bags in Golden Gate. Print literature. You can sign up if you want to work in the office stuffing bags. We've got dozens of shifts for that. And then we've got deliver literature bags in Immokalee. So we're going to cover our first batch is Immokalee and Ave Maria. Then we're going to cover Golden Gate Estates and Golden Gate City. And then that's about 2 weeks worth of work right there. And then after that, we're going to move on to coastal Naples and then East Naples and Marco Island and so on. So this is what's available today is Immokalee and Golden Gate. So pick your preference, sign up for multiple shifts, please, because this is a big job. This is going to run at least 4 weeks of teams, at least 5-10 people out there every day delivering bags. All right. So I'm going to go back to my presentation. So we're going to provide paper grocery bags to hold the literature with bags with handles. We'll mark what turf it is and all that stuff. If you got a reusable tote bag, that might be easier. These plastic bags, when you're handling them by the 10 or 20 or 30 or 50, they get a little slippery and they're a little hard to manage. So we've got some little clips to try and keep them organized, but you need something to carry them in. And that's it. Any Star Wars fans out there? I like this photo. This is actually
great.
a urging vote by mail.
That's nice.
Yep. Okay, that's the presentation. So you sign up.
I do have a question.
Yeah.
So it's, when you sign up to do a shift, it's listed as 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. So I'm thinking I'm going to go to the office in the morning, pick up the stuff, meet my partner who's going to be with me, but I'm not going till 5 p.m. So it's not going to happen.
We had some internal discussion on how to time it, because we could have just said, oh, lit up, pickups are between 9 and 11. But what we're going to do is we're going to have the office staff, because we're going to be there full time stuffing bags. So what it
Okay.
really means is you can pick up anytime between 9 and 5.
Okay.
And then do your turf, and then you can either bring it back the next morning or the same day, you know, because we don't want to lose track of the bags, right? If somebody takes one, we don't hear from them for 3 days. We don't know if their work was done or not.
Okay.
So you can pick it up anytime between 9 and 5, and then you do the turf, obviously, you know. If you go in the afternoon, you're probably going to get rained on, but, you know,
Yeah.
you go fluidity, you know how that works.
Okay, good.
All right.
Adam, this is Anissa. I just have a quick comment here. So for the people that are delivering literature, remember you are delivering to people that are registered as Democrats who have not voted in 2018. So they're low propensity voters, but they have selected a political party. So if you run into anybody, please remember that you are representing the Democratic Party. Smile. Thank them for being part of the community and encourage them to vote because it is so important this time. And if they have questions, they can always call our headquarters. They can always go to our website. All of that information will be in their bags. They will have access to our phone number and our website in their literature bags, and also encourage them to take their friends and vote as well. You know, this is about clean water. This is about affordable housing. This is about living wages. This is about access to health care. You know, our rights are on the ballot this year. And so if you see someone, if you have an opportunity to engage, please remember to be friendly, to be encouraging, ask them to vote. And if they seem to want to learn more or volunteer, they can also volunteer to do the same exact thing. And if they are cool with you taking a picture, maybe you guys can do a selfie or something, that would be great. That would really help us to encourage other people to vote and also encourage people from the community that you're delivering to vote as well, you know. So if you're comfortable doing that, that would be great if you could send those to us as well. So thank you very much. And I'm looking forward to a successful election year.
Hope so.
Oh, Rita, you're muted.
Do you think it's wise or unwise to wear like Democratic Party shirts?
I think it's wise, especially if we're out there, we have Democratic Party literature. You're being friendly, you're engaging with people if you want to. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. It's really a personal preference thing. I certainly plan on wearing my Democratic Party stuff when I'm out there, a button, a shirt, a hat, whatever I have, because I want people to know that I'm there in their community, encouraging them to vote. Yeah.
And I was in the office stuffing bags yesterday, and Sherry is one of the headquarter volunteers, and she wears her new blue shirt all the time in stores and everything, and she gets a lot of thumbs up and thank yous and stuff. So she hasn't had any negative experiences.
I wear mine every weekend. I wear my Democratic Party T-shirt or my Val Demings shirt everywhere I go now.
Okay,
So yeah.
good to know.
Okay. All right. Everybody good? Thank you. And I got another training class coming up Wednesday. So if anybody, you know, send your friends, whatever you got. All right.
Thank
Thank
you,
you
Ed.
all.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Have a good